dude?
Absolutely. Stay safe out there, man. Keep rolling.
All right, let's get Joel Watuka up. So Joel Watuka, he is he's super interesting cat, self-centric supply chain planner. We're going to talk to him. I've wanted to talk to him for a while. I know he does some writing. He dabbles a little bit in the media side. Super interesting cat. He's also with OTR Consulting Group, founder of that. Joel Watuka, thank you for joining Dooner and the Dude on What the Truck today.
Timbo, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, Joel, Mike Vincent here, the Dude. How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. I've gotten the pleasure of meeting Tim in person, but I don't think I got to spend too much time with you if we did meet. So yeah. I'm glad you guys are having me.
No, we're happy to have you. And one of the reasons it came up, I wanted to have you back on the show, but then also you posted something recently, and it was no more than ever we need solidarity and unity both in business and the country. Accountability is in order for normal order to be restored. And I think that and you would agree with me, one of the reasons it came up is I think that applies that applies to everything, not just business, but also media platforms like FreightWaves have, or like brokers do on sites like YouTube and things like that. So what do you make of all that? And what kind of responsibility as a consumer of this media, do you think that we have?
I think that as a platform, we, not just as a platform, but just in America, we need healing. I mean, there is obviously a huge gash that is gushing blood right now, and we need to do something about it. So if I could just have 1 second, I would like to read a Facebook post that one of my friends put up that I think resonates with this very well.
Please do.
So it says, I love how people think Black lives is political. Nah, baby. This is morals and life. I'm not fighting for my political views. I'm fighting for my friends and family to live a long and safe life without fear of leaving their house because of the color of their skin. And all of us have a platform. I mean, anyone that is a professional has a platform, whether they understand that or they don't. It's not a political issue. This is a suffering issue. This is a quality issue. This is a human rights issue. And that's how we should approach it.
Joel, I agree with you, and I think that that's sort of the ignorance of when people, they go all lives matter, and I think that they're either willfully or maybe they just need to be educated on it, but they think that the all lives matter thing, which is, yes, all lives do matter, but the point of Black Lives Matter is that Black lives matter too, and they're not mattering as much as all lives do, right? So to say all lives matter is invalidating the point of the movement that you guys are trying to make, which is to shine a light on some of the injustices that are happening in America. It is not to say that any life is better than another, but that lives are equal, correct?
Correct. I mean, at the end of the day, as abused as Black people have been, I have never really heard a serious argument of Black people wanting revenge against America. They simply want a fair chance. They want a fair chance at a job, a fair chance at a promotion, fair chance at school, fair chance at life. And not just that, but when their life is taken, they want fair justice. And disproportionately, we get unfair results. So the second post that another one of my friends put up that relates perfectly to this is, pandemics are real, whether or not you know someone who's sick. Racism is real, even if you are not racist. White privilege is real, even if you don't feel it. Police brutality is real, even if the cops you know are kind and just. Your world isn't the world. Everything is not about you. And white privilege is nothing to be ashamed about or guilty about. It's just a matter of fact that when I have a conversation with someone and I tell them that I leave my house and if I see blue light, it terrifies me. Not because I'm doing anything wrong, but because I have just entered a situation where I could lose my life. And if you have never felt that experience, then that is privilege. That is a privilege I don't have. So just as if you have the Xbox and a PS5 and a Nintendo in your house, and someone doesn't have any games in your house, you have a privilege. Is it your fault? No, but you do have a privilege. So I think that the thing that the movement wants is anyone that wants to be an ally is if you could use your privilege to make things a little bit more equal for us, then that would be awesome.
Excellent words, Joel. And in that post that Dooner had brought up, and he really spoke to and read the first two lines of that. It was the next part that really got to me about how empathy can be lost in the drive for business success and profits, etc. But which is important and very true, and I agree with that 100%. But then it said we need a reminder, to be excellent to each other, etc. But it was those words that we need a reminder, and that's kind of the issue, is it not, Joel, that we have to have these reminders? I mean, like you said, even though you don't experience racism, it's there. Even though you don't experience police brutality, it's there. And for those of us that don't experience those type of things, it's the need for the reminder that really becomes the issue, right? Because we go about our days and it's no big deal because we don't see it, we're not experiencing it, it's not involved around us, and then we need this reminder to go, oh yeah, you know what, we need to speak up and say this is wrong.
It is, and guys, this is going to take way longer than you guys would like, but this is important. So I'm just going to read a list of names: George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Dante Hamilton, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Romaine Brisbane, Jermaine Reed, Tony Robinson, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Sean Reed, Stephen DeMarco, Taylor, Arian McCree, Terrence Franklin, Miles Hall, Jamie Johnson, Antoine Rose, Stephen Clark, Yasin Muhammad, Finan H. Burhay, Eric Logan, Jamarian Robinson, Gregory Hill Jr., Jaquavian Slayton, Ryan Swan, Brandon Weber, Jimmy Atchison, Willie McCoy, Amantic E.J. Fitzgerald, Bradford Jr., Detrick Griffin, Jamel Robinson, DeAndre Ballard, Botham Sheen John, Robert Lawrence Wright, Anthony Lamar Smith, Ramarley Graham, Manuel Logans Jr., Trayvon Martin, Wendell Allen, Kendrick McDade, Larry Jackson Jr., Jonathan Fazell, Jordan Baker, Victor White III, Ezell Ford, I mentioned before, Kajim Powell, Laquan McDonald, Charlie Kinane, Tony Robinson, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, repeating himself a little bit,
yeah,
Jimmy Atchison, but there's at
Joel,
least 20 more names.
Joel, there's a huge Joel. Hold on, there's a huge list of names there. Have you seen, so in terms of the supply chain media platforms? You've seen the good and the bad of it? Have you seen it be used negatively and in ways that you don't approve of?
I was, and you guys are familiar with Freight Broker Live. I was watching a broadcast, and I felt like the line was crossed between entertainment and social consciousness. And I think that once I addressed it, the curator of that program realized that he maybe was allowing a perspective that he didn't feel was correct. So I think that the important thing is that if you have a platform and we're dealing with these issues that are obviously affecting a group of people that are U.S. citizens, that are your brothers and sisters. I mean, I'm more proud to be a U.S. citizen today than I've ever been at any point in time in my life. And when your brothers and sisters, your U.S. citizens, are being attacked by their own kind, it is important that we stand up and we say this is not okay. Now, to address because I think that a lot of the issues with the protests come from the quote unquote rioting and looting, which I would never condone in most situations. But what we need to understand is the history of our country. We were founded on the Boston Tea Party, which is when the British East, and this is a transportation, actually, this is a very transportation-oriented issue, is that the British East India Company decided that they were going to import tea from China, and they were not going to levy any taxes on it outside of the Townshend Act. So American patriots, of course, opposed this, because not only are you importing tea from another country, but you are also selling it to us without taxes that benefit the country or benefit the colony at this point. So demonstrators, some disguised as Native Americans, destroyed an entire shipment of tea. I believe that the equivalent value of this day is over $1 million worth of damage. This country was founded on rioting and looting. Britain was so outraged by Americans' reaction that they sent their army. And then we had the American Revolution. So if you, the current, I think the current term is, or the current phrase is, no justice, no peace. But in the American Revolution, the term was, give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah. Joel, these are powerful words, and this has been a really powerful segment. We will definitely have to dive in deeper with this with you. We have about 40 seconds left. Can you, before we have to end the call, but can you just give us a quick update on where you're at with that TQL class action suit? I know you were a part of it.
So, okay, with the TQL class action suit, I do not know what's going on with it currently. I do know that I on average work probably about 10 hours extra a week is what we determine with the lawyers. It has been slow moving. I've been involved for about four or 5 years, I believe. And I would love to talk more about both of these topics in depth when we have time.
Okay, you know what? Let's extend it. We're gonna do one more segment. I'm gonna give you. Let's do 5 more minutes. Let's get us up to date on TQL. What was your experience there? And we'll dive into that.
Okay. So my experience at TQL was my own experience. This is my opinion, TQL. Please don't come after me litigiously. I know you guys like to do that. But my experience at TQL was it's a very boiler room type of company where you are attached to your numbers. Everything that is told to you is that your performance determines your success. And then once you get success at the company, you learn that's not a whole truth. I was someone who was awarded with achievement awards while I was there. And I had achieved the level of success where I had basically entered into being recognized by the corporate office, although I worked in the Jacksonville office. And then I started having access to companies that I didn't have access to unless I was given access to them. So in my experience, I found that working at Total Quality was more about your trustworthiness with the management versus your performance. Because I received performance awards. I received, Broker of the Week awards. I was handling responsibilities outside of my position in hopes of achieving a promotion. But I call out favoritism when I'm too vocal. I'm too vocal. I call out favoritism when I see it. And there was situations where we had this thing called power hour, where anyone who's participating, we take an hour out, we block it out, and we make as many dials as possible. And there was one particular time where, and at this point, I had semi-worked my way to the leadership ranks, but without a formal title. So we had a power hour that was basically pitting the newer brokers versus the established or quote-unquote tenured brokers. And I had access to all the information as far as it was concerned. And one of the guys, the established brokers ended up winning the call volume. And one of the guys on the established team was just talking crap about how the new guys talk so much junk and then how they beat them. So I just look at the numbers and I saw that he had called the same phone number several times and basically let it sit on voicemail.
Yeah. Joel, unfortunately, we are running out of time. We definitely will have to dive deeper into this nugget quickly.
It is a lot to talk about. So I would love to come back. I would love to have even if it's on a different part of the FreightWaves network.
We'll definitely have you. Joel, we'll definitely have you. We really appreciate your time today. Emily Zink also just put a link in the comments talking about the TQL class action suit. Go to freightwaves.com for more on that. Joel, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, and we will definitely pick up for part 2 with you in the coming weeks. Thank you, sir. So yeah, big stuff there, dude. So much to chew on. Let's land on an interesting note, though. Tampa Bay man, right? He says he's being forcibly quarantined with hundreds of parrots as neighbors have gated him in for the past several months. What do you make of that?
Well, I read that article. I mean, he made his bed, right? Or like I like to say, he buttered his bread. Let him lie in it. But what actually happened there is what it seems is the Florida courts forgot that they can't deny a citizen access to a public road because they took away his easement off of his property, and now technically it's illegal for him to get to a public road.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the next Netflix special, at the Parrot King. Go check it out. You can check out us at Timothy Dooner on Twitter, DOONER, or LinkedIn. Michael Vincent, follow him. Subscribe to all FreightWaves media. There'll be shows tomorrow. Their next show is midday market update, noon Eastern time.
That's
live.
Right.
Thank you so much, Rose. Have a happy, healthy 4th of July. For those of you listening on the radio, drive safe. Thank you to our guests today for being so open and so honest. Thank you to Trailer Bridge for your tremendous following, coming, sharing your audience with us. We definitely really appreciate it. Michael Vincent, any closing thoughts? Justin McGee says my experience was exactly the same as Joel with too, because I got the same awards. The DFW office got all the awards and corporate acknowledgments, but in the end, it didn't matter. He said it's a horrible scam. So I don't know. A lot of impassioned people, impassioned show.
Right. Peace and love. You don't need a crisis to be excellent to each other.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.